We meet the Mets. We meet the Mets. Stand right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really sucking the ball.
But it's the baseball hut, amazing, spectacular, terrific. The great one, the people's champion, your host Hut, and as you can see, we're doing a rather impromptu live stream. As you may not know, maybe you do know now with this video coming up, the Mets have named Billy Eppler their new general manager. I have the statement from the team. And I was going to do a video on Steven Matz. There's a little interesting news about Steven Matz with the Mets, or a rumor anyway. But please like this video and subscribe to the Baseball Hut. And we're going to get into this in a minute. Let me just take down my my picturino, and away we go. Now, this channel is really, I think, has the best commentary. At least I like to think I do. And I do have fun with the clickbait, but don't get offended. It's not meant to offend. It's meant to get people's attention. Boy, I get attention. You need to check out my video on Max Scherzer. People say the Mets have no chance again. Well, the Mets have money. And if you have money, people will come and flock to you, especially if you're a player. So let me get into this statement by the Mets. And, of course, again, please subscribe and like the video. As we'll be going until about 10 o'clock. I wasn't really expecting to do this. I'm actually busy doing something, to be honest with you. But we're going to get into this. So the Mets put out a little statement about 20 minutes ago, I guess. Let me see if there's anything new to take this story a little bit further. Nothing at the moment. Let's take a peek. All right. So here we get the Mets. This is from the Mets Medium, called medium.com. This is from their actual business side of the website that the Mets put out information on. The statement goes, Mets named Billy Eppler general manager. Flushing, New York, November 18, 2021. The New York Mets today announced the team has signed Billy Eppler to a 4-year contract to be the club's 16th general manager. Eppler served as the Los Angeles Angels general manager from 2015 to 2020 and worked for the New York Yankees in a variety of capacities from 2004 to 2015, rising to assistant GM before joining the Angels. Quote, it's from Steve Cohen. Billy has the experienced character and respect of the baseball community that will allow him to attract the players and front office talent to lead the Mets forward. Steve Cohen said he is the leader who has worked in two of baseball's biggest markets, and his talents and personality will move us close to my goal of sustained success. End quote. During his time with the Angels, Eppler signed Shohei Ohtani. It's very important to remember that. Was a big player, Suzuki, that just got posted today by one of the Japanese teams. So keep an eye on him. So when you have like a relationship with a general manager or any individuals with the Japanese, they, forget that. And of course today, Shohei Ohtani won the MVP as well as Bryce Harper won the MVP in the National League. Eppler signed Shohei Ohtani in December 2017, agreed on a 12-year extension with Mike Trout just before the 2019 season, and tabbed Joe Madden as the team's manager during the 2019 offseason. Eppler joined WME Sports as part of their baseball representation in September 2021. Now, he was going to be an agent. So he'd been out of baseball for a few months, and he was going to become an agent, and the Mets brought him back. Quote, over the past 2 decades, Billy has been a scout and an assistant GM. He's also more than familiar with the New York market. This uniquely qualifies him to lead our efforts going forward, end quote, said Mets president Sandy Alderson. Quote, he's smart, he hustles, and has a keen eye for identifying talent. He's going to make us better. I'm really pleased that we have someone of his caliber leading the Mets. Now, Billy has a background in scouting. And the Mets have had a major issue scouting, especially over the last 2 3 years, in terms of sort of um, in terms of amateur talent. And the Mets are going to get a lot of draft picks this off season. I mean, next season in the draft. Quote, I'm so thankful to Steve and Sandy for what I consider an opportunity of a lifetime, said Mets GM Billy Eppler. We have a lot of work to do and will systematically begin to work towards our goal of building a perennial winner. Also have to thank WME for the amazing opportunity to join their baseball group, which is building something very special. Epper was the assistant GM with the Yankees from 2012 to 2015, serves the senior director of professional personnel from 2010 to 2011. He was the Yankees director of pro scouting. It's very important. He started out as a scout. This is very, very important for the Mets. The Mets need to get a baseball guy in here. Zach Scott and Jared Porter were numbers guys. They're sort of the new breed. But Billy's the old breed. And in fact, from what I understand, he's sort of a disciple. That's sort of the name that the word's been going as a disciple of Stick Michael, who was the former general manager of the Yankees and was basically the super scout for the Yankees during the 90s and passed away a few years ago. While assisting general manager Brian Cashman's responsibilities include assisting with player acquisitions, roster composition, and management, staffing and personnel, and player contract negotiations. In addition, Epler oversaw all phases and personnel in the Yankees' major league and professional scouting departments, both domestically and internationally. He graduated from the University of Connecticut with a finance degree in '98 and began his sports career as an intern in the Washington football team scouting department. Oh, he started in NFL. That's interesting. He joined the Colorado Rockies organization in 2000 as an area scouting supervisor in Southern California in 2000. He was promoted to assistant director of pro scouting and player development in 2003, a job he held for 2 years before joining the Yankees. So this guy is deep in scouting. This is so important. The Mets have not had a really good general manager in terms of scouting since Omar Minaya. So this guy's got a great background in this regard. This is really great news to read. And they said he finished up. Epler and his wife Catherine have 3 sons. So this isn't the Billy we expected. we thought that we were going to get Billy Bean, but like I said, a few weeks ago, I got information that Billy Bean was not interested in coming here because of his family obligation. Hello, Stony814. Hey, Stony, thanks for defending me on the other video. I appreciate it. A lot of grumpy people watching that video, boy. Boy. Hey, you got to do what you got to do in life. You got to run your business the way you need to run your business. And I appreciate the kind words in the comments. You're fighting back the anger, but not you, but of everybody else because of that video. That's a great video I did Max Scherzer earlier. I need to check it out. There's no player that the Mets are not going to be connected to. Uh, they're going to be connected to every player that is on the market, every single player. And we must understand that. So don't let people that aren't Met fans get you down. But now we have a general manager. Now we have to find a manager. I was watching some Y tonight, and they were talking a lot about Joe Espada, who was a Yankees coach. I guess that's where Billy knows him from, and of course he was with um, the Houston Astros right now as a coach. I think I don't know if he's dirt base coach or bench coach, but he's there. But there's also other names that were mentioned tonight. One is John Farrell of the Toronto Blue Jays, and obviously with the Boston Red Sox. Brad Ausmus, who Billy hired after um, Mike Scioscia retired or just left um, the Angels after 20 years there. And he hired Ausmus, but he was forced to fire Ausmus after one season because the owner out there wanted a bigger name. He made him forced him to hire Madden, who I'm not a big fan of, by the way. But another big name, and really the biggest name, and I hope that they put him in here, have him come in here, is Buck Showalter. Buck is the guy. I was watching him earlier today. He's going to come in if he comes here and he's in the he's in the office. Uh, Mets need leadership at least for now, and somewhere in that team. Okay, you can get that from the manager. This guy will find a leader for the Mets. A lot of times, these players will find a leader, but sometimes he will. The nonsense that had gone on in the field with the thumbs down wouldn't have happened if Buck was the manager. So, but we're gonna see. Hopefully, we'll have a resolution on the manager pretty quickly. Hopefully, in about next 10 days. Hopefully, before we get to December 1st. Joshua Cisneros says, "Hey Hut, who's your number one priority free agent for the Mets? Scherzer or an outfielder?" The Mets have two priorities, and that is pitching and offense. This team can't hit, and this team needs a lot of help offensively. Um, and the Mets could use some pitching, obviously. Um, I have a tweet here. I don't have it on the screen because I went out for a little while, and I was gonna do a video on Steven Matz, and this is around 8 o'clock, a little before 8 o'clock. It's from John Heyman. Mets have interest in bringing back Steven Matz following his breakout season in Dunedin, Buffalo, Toronto. And Matz, a Long Islander, did love playing for his hometown team. The incumbent Jays are also among several teams pursuing Matz. So the Mets are interested in bringing Steven Matz back. Now, I mentioned him the other day in the live stream. I was just sort of throwing his name out there. But interestingly enough, he's out there. Every player that's out there, the Mets are going to be attached, especially if there's no qualifying offer. And that's sort of been the word, too. Anyone that doesn't have a qualifying offer, too, the Mets are going to be talking to them. Now, the players that do have qualifying offers, just to go run down their names a little bit, is Robbie Ray, Carlos Correa, Nick Castellanos, and Marcus Semien. I don't see him getting Semien. I don't know where he's going to go. And I don't, he might be better off going and being a second baseman at this rate than being a shortstop. He'd probably make a lot more money, to be honest with you. Hold on a second. All right. Stoney says this. The HUD, I'm hearing that the Billy Eppler conference, 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. No, it's 12:30 tomorrow. So it's 12:30 tomorrow. They'll have the big announcement of the press conference, I guess. I don't know if it's going to be at Citi Field or it's going to be on Zoom. But I'd like to see it at Citi Field, to be honest with you. But Billy will be introduced to the Mets' new general manager. A couple of things. He brought in Justin Upton. He made the trade for him. He signed Anthony Rendon and his time with the Angels and, of course, the great Shohei Ohtani. He signed him to a contract. Saya Suzuki, he's the big player that got posted today on by the Japanese. I have information on him. I got to pull it out somewhere. Put out my behind at this rate. But we're going to go through all this. Obviously, I wasn't expecting to do a live stream tonight, and I'm not going to be doing this too much longer. But I just want to sort of say hello to everybody and just get the information out there to you. And of course, I'll be back on Sunday doing a live stream, and we'll talk about other stuff, including the Mets, and probably we're going to be talking a lot about the CBA. I think this is going to be a long lockout, a long freeze. But Max Scherzer, let me get back to that question. Let's get back to Max Scherzer because it was asked that. See, Scherzer is 37 years old. Okay, I think he has probably another 2 years left in his arm. And Don't expect him to pitch 30 starts. Don't expect him to have 30 starts. Maybe 25, 30. Um, he's still very competitive. You could still win with him, but he's not the ace that he was. Now everything's all predicated, obviously, on Jacob Degrom. If Jacob is healthy, the Mets are going to be really good. And at the same time, the Mets need a lot of offensive help. They have two holes in the outfield. They don't have a third baseman. They don't have a second baseman. They have an automatic out behind the plate, quite frankly. Uh, um, they have a great hitter in Pete Alonso. You have Lindor. I don't know what the hell's going on with Lindor. And they have Brandon Nimmo, who's pretty good. Anthony Descari, Mets mesmerized, was reporting the Mets were reportedly interested in a reunion with Steven Matz. Why? Well, Steven went 14-7 last year with the Blue Jays. He pitched really well. Um, so I think that, and I don't think there's a qualifying offer attached to him. I don't think there is. Um, so as far as I know, any player that has a qualifying offer, the Mets aren't going to be interested in. The only two players they might be interested in is Robbie Ray and Castellanos. If those guys, if the Mets go, and I don't think they're going to go after them, but those are the two guys that the Mets would probably go after. They're not going to go after Correa. It's going to cost way too much money for the Mets, and I wouldn't do that. Um, Now, Matz, he's not going to embarrass the team, but as Joshua says, Matz cannot pitch in New York, unfortunately. The problem is there's too many distractions here for him. Being here is a problem. People want tickets and friends wanting to see him. I'm sort of half and half on it. And he's going to want I'm thinking about this. He's probably going to want a 5-year deal. He's probably going to want a 5-year deal, probably similar to Zach Wheeler. Probably a little less than Zach, I would think. I don't know Wheeler's numbers. I got to come up with a number for him. But be something like that. Alex asked me, what about Chris Bryant? Well, Chris Bryant does not have a qualifying offer. And we're going to be talking a lot about Chris Bryant. A lot. And they've already talked to him already. And he doesn't have and a lot of teams going to want him. The two players that are going to have tons of attention on them is Starlin Marte and Chris Bryant. Starlin Marte has stuff that no other player has. He can run and he steals bases and he gets on base. Very few players do that now. Chris Bryant is a good offensive player. He's been an MVP. He can play third, play all the outfield positions. You could DH him later on. But you don't see that. Another thing you have to keep in mind is you don't want to plug up the hole at third. Excuse me. Especially if you have Vientos and Brett Beatty coming up. And they're getting close to being major league right, especially Vientos. Vientos is probably about 2-3 months in the minors to be a major league player. So you don't want to put some guy that's going to be there. You don't want to bring. See, I don't want to make a trade for say like Jose Ramirez. I know people are going to be talking about that in the offseason. He's got 2 more years on his contract. I would not, under any circumstances, make a trade with the Indians ever again, or whatever the hell they're calling themselves. James says, "Hey Hud, how are you? Hopefully the Mets make some waves. A lot of rumors. Will anything materials? Yes, guarantee it. I guarantee you they will be making all kinds of moves now. Guarantee it." Joshua says Mets should trade Edwin Diaz. He's not built for big market pressure. That is another problem. I don't see them trading Diaz now. Diaz is going to be on his walk year, and I don't see the Mets doing that. I don't think it makes any sense right now. If he's on a walk year, the most that, to be honest with you, it doesn't make sense to trade him Because what if he has a big year and he's on a walk year? You're not going to get a lot of value for him. And and here's the thing about relievers and closers. If he has a big year, great. I don't trust him. You know, and it's funny. He had he had a high ERA. Didn't give up too many home runs this year. But the two biggest games that killed him that season was the game before the All Star break and the second game after the All Star break. I was also asked, why is he so inconsistent? He throws hard, but he doesn't have everything is straight. Everything that Edwin throws is straight as an arrow. There's nothing deceptive about the stuff that he throws. And he throws a slider, and when you get on top of that ball, it sort of sits there. And I think it's funny when whenever the ball hits in the air and you know it's going out, he points up. I think he's sort of like praying to God that they knock the ball down. Uh, from Stony 814, let me put this up. All right, I got a dumb question. One of these days, you ever going to do a video where you show your face? No, that is not going to happen. If the Mets win the World Series, maybe you'll see maybe you'll see my face. Maybe. Joshua says the walkover against Stallings ended the Mets season when you think about it. Well, they should have played much better against the Pirates, and they didn't. Um, and because they didn't play better against the Pirates, that kind of showed you, yeah, DeGrom too. Um, DeGrom was one thing, but then to have Edwin Diaz pull the game that Sunday at Citi Field when they had a 5-run lead, and then to lose the second game when they were winning that game against a bad Pirate team. That Pirate team is bad. And to do that again, after coming back that Friday night, they flat as a pancake. They lose Lindor on that injury. And then he comes back and he blows the game. They should have had that game. They were winning that game that whole game till he came in the ninth inning. You know. So, you know, you know, that didn't surprise me. But I don't think the season he had was anything special. It was nothing special. You know. He didn't give up any home runs, but he gave up home runs that killed you. Alex says, well, they played so many doubleheaders this year. Well, the weather. It's going to be different next year. When the Mets play and the they're getting rid of these 7-inning doubleheaders. Thankfully, there was no reason to have the 7-inning. But the Mets had such bad weather. The weather was so bad here, and now the weather's beautiful here now. The last 2 months, the weather has been so beautiful. It's beautiful today. As you know, I live in New York with the accent, but the weather was so bad here in the springtime, and really for a good part of the summer. And it's funny. It's funny. I have a theory that when the Mets are going to have a good year, the weather's good. And when the Mets have bad weather, that means they're going to be bad. And they had bad weather in the beginning. I was like, uh-oh. Mets Nick's boy says, everybody blew fastballs by this whole team. Alonso, Lindor, Conforto, I could not understand it. Well, Alonso's, he's a low ball hitter. And low ball hitters tend to be, have slow bats. Lindor, I don't know what the hell his problem is. And Conforto's out of here. So I don't have to worry about Conforto anymore. Conforto was a pain to watch. Alex asked me, what's up with Alonso? Let's see, hit 35 home runs. He had no protection in the lineup. That doesn't help either. I hope they can get him some protection. Stony 814. The Hut. Who's your free agent you want to come to New York? Let's see. Well, I am open to any of these players. Any player that improves the offense on this team. That's kind of what I'm looking for. I want offensive players on this team that are going to hit and that are going to perform well in a big spot. I'm tired of men being left on base. I'm tired of rallies dying. And that's what I'm looking for. And that's what I want. Alex asked me this. Let me post this up. Where do you think Conforto's going to go? Well, I've heard two teams. I've heard the Phillies. That's one team. I've also heard the Mariners. Those are really the two teams I've heard. I could see him going to the Yankees too. The Yankees need left-handed pop. You know, he's got a good swing for Yankee Stadium. But I don't think the weird thing is, it doesn't seem like the Yankees really want to spend any money. It's really strange to see the Yankees not wanting to spend money. That's kind of been the rumor here too. That doesn't seem like they want to do that. You know, Yankees are in a weird spot because they don't. It's not like when the old man was there. You know, but we'll see. And obviously tomorrow will be a press conference. They'll introduce Billy Eppler in the press conference. Hopefully, the next 10 days after that, the Mets will have a manager. Hopefully, the process to find a manager will be a lot easier than the general manager. It should be. It'll probably be somebody that knows Billy and he's friendly with, which I don't have a problem with. Probably the three names you'll probably be hearing a lot about is Joe Espada, Brad Ausmus, and Buck Showalter. Those are the three names we're going to hear a lot about. I'm going to assume that Mike Scioscia's off the list, as well as Bruce Bochy. But the other three names that we're going to hear a lot about is John Farrell, Eric Chavez, and Raul Ibanez. See, the problem with Espada, Chavez, and Ibanez is that they've never managed. Those guys have never managed. I want a guy that's managed, and that's had success. Buck's had success. Farrell's had success. I don't know how Farrell would do here. That's the one thing. I don't know how Ausmus would do here. He's been in small markets. Let's see. From Alex, what do you think of Ross going to the Yankees as a third base coach? Well, I thought it was interesting that they don't really make these kind of announcements on a conference call or a Zoom call. But obviously, the Yankees don't like the fact that the Mets. Everyone's talking about the Mets in this town. They're not really talking about the Yankees so much. So obviously, they wanted to tweet the Met fans, and I don't think too many Met fans care. I don't care. Who cares? He was a lousy manager here. Nice guy, but that was the problem. He was too nice. And the big complaint was that he was too nice with the Mets, with the Met players. Mets next boy says the Martian is their next great outfielder, Jason Dominguez. We'll see. Who knows? Why they call him the Martian? Because he's out of this world. Why they call him the Martian? Does he have like antlers coming out of his head? But yeah. So again, this is the first step in the Mets. They need to bring in a guy that is a scout, and is a baseball guy, and that's what they've done. They brought in a baseball guy, and somebody very, very respected, highly respected, and that's a good sign. This is a good move by the Mets. Now it's all about him, what he's going to do with it. That's really the next step. To be honest with you, the big next step. All right. From Alex, do you think the Mets should re-sign Baez? Well, I said on my other channel, the Baseball Hut 2, that they shouldn't. I am at this point half and half. I did a video saying not to do it, but my attitude's half and half. I see what his value is, but I also see the strikeouts. The strikeouts really bother me. The empty at bats. Everything else about his game is great. He's the best base runner in baseball. The best base runner in baseball. No, I don't think anybody's even close. I don't think anybody's is as close as he is in terms of just being, just smart on the field. He's extremely intelligent. And like I said, he must be the best base runner in the game. Not even close. I don't think anybody's close to him. He was great in the second half, but the team, went in the toilet. Nemrick wasn't good with him. That's the only thing. That's another drawback to his game. I don't feel like he made the Mets better with his play. That's important too. Plus they didn't hit a low Liam, but uh, Joshua Villar not a close second. Villar, are you kidding me? You kidding me? Villar's a bad base runner. He a wild base runner. Jason Jonathan Villar, very much, very, very wild base runner. A little too wild for my taste. Elliot, so Byers is responsible for everyone forgetting how to hit. I don't know what you mean by that. My point is that I look at a team. How well does a team play when you bring players in here? And I don't see how they got better. It seemed like they got worse as a team. So where did they get worse? And it seemed like his effect really was that big of a deal. And being here wasn't that big of a deal. So I'm like half and half on it. From Stoney, they're gonna bring back Villar. I would bring him back and play him at third. But he's not gonna be playing as much as he did last year. There's just too much. The reason he played so much is because he was, Mets sort of hamstrung with Davis, and this one was hurt, and that one was hurt. We'll really dig into this thing with the free agency. I haven't really dug into it that much in terms of the names and stuff. Alex says the Mets should trade Jeff McNeil. That's a tough one, because Jeff is still a 300 hitter. Jeff will be a very difficult pill to swallow if the Mets move him. That is a tough one, because he's been an all-star. He's been a very good player, but obviously he has a bad attitude. Then you have guys like Mike Conforto and Dom Smith, and they're good guys, and there's no problems with them, in the clubhouse and with the teammates. But, one of them's going to be gone, and the other one should be gone too. Alex says, but his defense is horrible. Haha. But there's going to be a designated hitter. But the designated hitter now in the National League, that's not a big deal. And I noticed when they played him more at second, you saw more of the holes defensively. And because of these holes, I'm starting to think you'd probably be better off playing him around. Play him at third, play him at second, play him in left, play him at right, DH him. From let me see. From Stony 814. Now the Hut, we can still go after Chapman, but he's great at defense, not really a good hitter, I heard. Stay away from Matt Chapman. He's a great defensive third baseman, but I'd stay away from him. I don't. Mets need guys that can hit. He doesn't hit enough. He's a 220 hitter. And then you have him for a couple of years. He occupies third base. I don't want to do that. You have him for 3 years. I don't know if I want him at all. From Alex again, maybe McNeil has a problem with Lindor. Well, it seemed like Lindor had a problem with him. From Mark Beretta. Will Eppler be given free rein, or will he be under Sandy's hand? Sandy's going to be out of here after this year. And from what people were saying about Zach Scott, that Zach Scott was sort of interim guy, and Sandy let him do whatever he wanted. Now Eppler's coming in here with experience. He's been a general manager. He's been a baseball scout. He's basically done everything. So I don't think Sandy's going to be, putting any of his hands on what moves that Eppler's going to be making now. Eppler's the general manager. Everybody thinks like people like they're like puppets, that all these, that they need like these puppeteers above. It's not. It doesn't work like that sometimes. All right. Yeah. So the press conference tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. This is from SNY. Tomorrow afternoon, Steve Cohen and Sandy Olson will introduce Billy Eppler as new GM of the Mets. Andy Martino and Jim Duquette host our coverage on SNY and on our digital platforms. So they'll be on SNY, on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So, so in all likelihood, we're gonna get the owner talking about what's going on. That's important. Got to see what he's thinking. Let me see. I thought there was something else I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about his time with the Angels from SNY. Steve Perez says this: McNeil to outfield, signed Baez and Brian. Neither will cost draft picks. Could do that too. That's not a problem. But like I said, McNeil, you want to bounce McNeil around. And Brian, you want to bounce him around too. Stoney asks, does the Wilpons own 5% of ownership? Yes, and they own SNY. Uh, no, I feel like reading. There's a lot to read here. And it's getting late. Let me just go through this one thing with the Mets. From Sowing 714. You think the Mets will try to sign Max Scherzer? I think so. Why not? It's not going to cost him a draft pick. He's a great pitcher still. He's not as great as he used to be, but he's still very effective. The Mets need a nasty guy on this team, to be honest with you. Alice, what do you think of Syndergaard? Well, the Mets offered him a contract. He didn't want it. He got more money from the Angels. You know, I think some of the stories that are coming out about him is a little weird. Um, you know, I mean, some of the stuff's been a little weird. I mean, there's an article out there about how the Mets did not do more to keep Syndergaard, but Syndergaard had said, back in October, he's like, I would be honored if the Mets gave me a qualifying offer. Well, they gave it to him, and then it's saying, Mets didn't do enough. You know, so I wish him well. You know, just because he wanted to play in New York, they gave him an offer, so he took more to play somewhere else. He took more money. Only one player took a qualifying offer. That's Brandon Belt. Nobody else did. I mean, Justin Verlander took more money. Some fruitcake was writing to me in the last couple of days, telling me that Verlander was going to finish his career with the Tigers. He's not going to finish his career with the Tigers. He's staying in Houston. He's 40 years old. Where's he going to go? Well, Alex, the thing is that he's not finished. He's not staying in New York. And the rumor's been going around that he wanted to change the scenery because he felt that you know that the pressure was getting too much. So he's going out to Anaheim. There's no pressure there. He'll probably pitch well. But is he going to be able to stay healthy? He's going to be able to pitch. There's only been one pitcher that's pitched a lot of innings for it coming right back. Also from Alex, what do you think about Stroman resigning? I'm half and half on him too. He's going to have a big market. The Padres are going to be involved. Uh, the Mariners, I think, were involved. The Cubs. A lot of teams are going to be in on him. He had a really good year, and he should have won the Gold Glove. Really should have won the Gold Glove. Stony 814. Isn't the Wilpons owned for like 2 more years, or what's going on with that? I have no idea. They're 5% owners. They have no power. But I'm sure they're causing trouble in the front office. Steve Perez, my old subscribers. Yeah, Syndergaard went out like a fool. Loved the dude. But he had to say all the BS implying he would definitely stay. Conforto probably exit was handled way. Absolutely. Conforto knows he's not coming back. He didn't jerk anybody around. Why is everybody riding Noah's blank? He did nothing here. Run of the mill starter? Okay. Or you're out to lunch. You're out to lunch. The only guy that won. He is um, the last starter to win a World Series game was Noah Syndergaard. Prior to that, the last guy that won a World Series game as a starter was Ron Darling. And he's the last guy in the last 20 years to win a World Series game. Period. And he pitched great in 2016 to where the Mets had the wild card game. He pitched great that wild card game. And if he hadn't gotten hurt in 2017, once he got hurt in 2017, the Mets season went down the tubes. Borey has said he had done nothing. He did nothing here. Get real. Okay, this is what we live with, our memories. Memories don't start yesterday. They start many years before. Alex, do you think Beltran would be a good coach for the Mets? I don't even know who the manager's going to be at this point. I'm surprised that Beltran's not in baseball right now. Stoney asked me, do you think Apple will do a good job for the 4 years here at the Hut? Oh, hopefully. Hopefully. God willing. God willing, they won the World Series. You know. Isn't that what we all want? Sometimes I wonder about some Met fans, if that's what they want. You know what I mean? Frank Baker says Brad Ausmus. Okay. That's one of the names we've heard. We've heard Brad Ausmus. We've heard Buck Showalter, John Farrell, Joe Espada. Espada tonight. I heard a lot of him tonight. That's a name I heard a lot of. Now, please like this video if you haven't already. And subscribe to the Baseball Hut. So, I'm going to end the live stream here. I will be back on Sunday. And hopefully we'll have some more information about Billy and his plans for the Mets. And you got to keep an eye on videos on this channel. I was meaning to do a video on Steven Matz. I guess I could save that for tomorrow. Steve Perez says they need to get Edgardo Alfonso back in the organization. Is wrong. That needs to be right. I agree. Aaron says steal Buck from MLB Network. They don't have to steal him. They just ask him. They'll be like, okay, see you later. There's no stealing. And he wants to come. He wants to match. You know. He wants to manage again. You tell me he doesn't want to manage. He sees Dusty Baker managing at his age and that old guy in Chicago. Starling Marte, Alex asked me. Well, we'll see. You know, he's got a lot of teams on him. A lot. 8, 9 teams? Something like that. Let me look at my list here. See what teams. I think the Astros, the Mets, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Marlins, the Rangers. Seems like the Rangers and the Tigers are going to be spending money this offseason. We'll see how this goes because obviously December 1st is looming. Well, thank you all for coming by. I'll be back on Sunday on this channel talking about our favorite team around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I think it's funny. The channel does really well during the football games. I agree. From Alex, Carlos Correa. The thing about Correa is that he's going to cost a lot of money. You're going to have to give up a draft pick. And where's he going to play? Well, thank you, Steve. It's good to see you all here and all the people in here. So, be back on Sunday around 4:30-ish, 5 o'clock. And then I'll be back on Monday doing a live stream of the baseball hut, probably after 6:30. Usually I watch SNY, the baseball night in New York. I watch that for a little bit, and then I come on. So to get some information, some late information. Well, thank you, Alex. Thank you for coming by. You're new to the channel, so thank you for coming by. I hope you subscribe. And if you're watching our replay, leave comments. I do my best to write back to people. No, William. Southern Cal Mets fan wants to know, is this? No, it's not clickbait. This is not a clickbait video. It's not a dream. The Mets have a general manager now. For real. They can introduce him tomorrow at 12:30. It's all real. It's all real, and it's going to happen, finally. And too bad I was off from work today, so I was able to do some stuff. I got to work tomorrow, and would have been nice to be able to do the live stream after the press conference. But anyway, thank you all for coming by. Please subscribe to the Baseball Hut and check out the Baseball Hut too. Trying to get that sucker monetized. Can't quite get the handle on it the last couple of days, last 2 weeks. But thank you, and have a good night, and I'll see you later.